Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today for Get Ready With Me using some new products. Now I know I did one of these last week, so I feel like I'm doing too many of them, but I did get this in the mail. It's massive, look at it. It's like almost as big as my body. I know you won't be able to see me, but anyway, so what this is, it's massive. I can't even show it all on camera at once, but it is the new Pixi Pretties range for this year. So I did a review of some of the products from last year and I really liked the products. So it's pretty much Pixi collaborating with influencers and making like a certain range. And there's 3 influencers this time around. So we have Chloe Morello. So she's got a sort of face palette and a lip product, as you can see there. So down the other end, we have an eyeshadow palette and a double-ended liner, I think. I'm not super familiar with this influencer. It's Weylie, I think that's how you pronounce her name. In the middle, we have a highlighter palette and also a lip palette. So I think that's from, is it Dulce or Dulce Candy? I'm not sure, I don't watch her. I'm not familiar. So this is probably an easier way to show you the product. So we've got a few palettes, we've got a lip product, and there's like an eyeliner. You can also see as well that they have a giveaway. So if I enter, which I will try to endeavour to do, I could win a trip to LA and have one of the influencers come on my channel. So I could win a trip to LA. So I'm going to attempt to do that. I'll try to like coincide this video with the Instagram post just so it works. But I do know that this means that I've got 2 Get Ready With Me's using new products a week apart, and I don't tend to like doing that. But when you do get a whole bunch of new products, it takes a very long time to review them in depth and to use every single shade to do a comprehensive review. So I'm going to do a first impressions testing some of these products, and then maybe in my May favorites and fails, I'll let you know overall what I sort of think about these products after I've used them more. So that's what we're doing today, testing some of these products out and letting you know what I think about them. Alright, so I've put the massive surfboard size box to the side and I can show you the products up close. So Chloe Morello, this is a really nice sort of just face palette. So it's got some cheek products, it's got some eyeshadows and some liner or brow sort of powders. So I am going to use some of these products. Let's open it up. It is the Romantic Radiance palette. Quite basic, but very, very usable. They're all, the top blush and the bottom blush have a bit of like sparkle in it. But the middle one looks matte, but you have sort of like your champagne duo, your warm duo, your cool tone duo, and your trio, like I said, of matte, ignore the cats, matte, yeah, and your trio of sort of matte powders for eyeliner or brows. So that's what that is. So in the Chloe Morello collab, there's also a lip product that's called a lip icing in the shade Cake. So this is sort of like a lip gloss with, oh wow, this sparkle is rad. So this is like a peachy color with like duochrome, yellow gold and pink shimmer. I don't know, I'm gonna have to show it with like the macro lens or something because it is very, very pretty. So it's a very sort of yellow gold gloss. I'm just curious about what it's like on its own. So yeah, you can see the duochrome. This sort of has the same sort of color shift as, not as intense, but the same sort of idea as Stylishly Merry, where it's a really yellowy gold that shifts a pink. It's a really nice feeling gloss because it is really, really sort of slippery but thick. So it's not at all sticky, but it feels like it layers the lips really, really well. And it gives a really pretty look on the lips because it adds a shimmer and like a shine, but like I said, it's not sticky and it's also not frosty. I really don't like the really silvery sort of shimmery lips. And by the way, the cats are just chasing each other, so if there's a lot of noise, it's this one. But it's actually a lot more subtle than it sort of looks in the packaging. But on the lips, it's very subtle and it looks like it's just a sheen sort of. Then the next 2 products are from, is it Dulce Candy? I feel bad that I don't know these things. I'm like the worst YouTuber because I don't watch too many big beauty YouTubers. Anyway, there's 2 palettes from her. One is a lip palette. So this is called Dulce's Lip Candy. And you can see it's got some nudes, it's got some peaches. We'll open it up. So they did have a format like this last year with It's Duty Time, where they did have a lip palette, so I think that's why they've got different kind of shade names. But you can see that this is quite a muted one, so it doesn't have like a lot of bright reds or anything like that. It's got like a cool tone nude, some sort of pinky nudes, some true nudes, peachy colours, a sort of orangey mid-tone nude, a dark pink, a sort of mauvey pink. So these are more sort of muted lip colours. They've got different finishes as well. So this one up here looks like it's a bit shimmery. The rest look like it's just a cream formula. So yeah, I'm not too sure if they're like, I don't think they're matte, but we'll have a play with this and have a play around. Then there's also this palette, which is the multi-use palette, and it's in this shade Sweet Glow. So that's what it looks like there, and you can see that all the shades are very, very, very shimmery. So you have a row of sort of like varying degrees of champagne, a row of different undertones of pink, and then sort of like a peachy color and two bronzes. Now these are multi-purpose, so you can use them on your eyes, you can use them on your face. So this is sort of like a highlighting palette. But if you don't like some of the shades as highlighters, you can use them as eyeshadows or lip toppers or whatever you want. So we'll try this out. And then the last thing is the Dimensional Eye Creator Kit, which is a collab with, is it Weylie? I'm not too sure. Once again, I'm really bad with knowing influencers. It is what it is. So in this, there's an eyeshadow palette and an eyeliner. So we'll open it up. I actually really like the size of this. I think it's a good, like it's kind of like unnecessarily tall, but I think the size of this is perfect for traveling, and it's very, very sturdy. So if you like a few matte shades, a few sort of light shimmery shades, this is something I'd consider taking traveling. So let's open it up. Very, very sturdy. I reckon this one's more sturdy than the other ones, possibly because it is designed, well, in my head, I think if you're going to buy this, it's more like put in your handbag, your makeup bag, travel. So this is quite nice. And this shade here is so gorgeous. I can just like, you can just see the shine, and I'm like one of those like, what birds that like shiny things? I'm just like, shiny, it's gorgeous. So there's that. And then a double-ended liner, and one end is a sort of twist up pencil, that's black, and then the other end is a felt tip liner, which is really great. So that's also fantastic for traveling. I think those two travel necessities or handbag sort of necessities, if they're good. Alright, so I do have foundation on, I do have concealer, I have powdered, but one thing I have noticed, I thought there might have been a bronzer in here, there's not. So I'm going in with last year's palette. This is from Mariam Maquillage, and this is the Strobe and Bronze palette. And I'm just going to go in with that light sort of matte shade just to bronze up a little bit. So all of a sudden I look like I got some life in my face, which is nice. I did notice though, and I have noticed this even when I did my last Get Ready With Me, I put the blush on and it looked so like, in person it looked good, but sort of on camera it looked a bit patchy. I'm noticing it here as well, and I think it might be because I've started introducing some pretty harsh skincare that sort of can make your skin peel a little bit. So that cheek looks like it's a bit shit. That one looks a lot nicer, but I think it's the skin and not the product. Alright, I'm going to start with the eyes, and I am going to probably dip into both of these palettes. I do want to use this as well, so I do want to sort of get some of the mattes from there. But there are some nice shimmers in here that I'm sort of interested in. There's this highlight shade that looks like, I'm going to swatch it, but I think it's one of those shades that looks quite light and white in the pan, but when you swatch it, it's got a gold shift. I'm getting that vibe, and if it is, they're really pretty and I like them, so I want to use it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So you can see that it looks quite yellow, and if you do swatch it, it's got a beautiful sort of gold, soft gold sort of shift to it. Whenever I film these, I'm always like, I need to wash my brushes because I'm running very low and it's kind of annoying. I'm going to go in with that top sort of almost mustardy, greeny color because I'm sort of sick of warm shades. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the cooler months that are happening or I'm just over the fad of them, but I'm really liking cooler shades, so I'm going with that, just a fluffy brush just in the crease to add some dimension. I've only picked up a little bit and you can see it does sort of blend quite nicely. But I don't know, is anyone else sort of getting sick of that really sort of warm orangey red trend? Because it is so, like, I don't know, it's just starting to bore me. They can look really pretty, but I just don't want to use them. So these mattes aren't super pigmented, but they do blend very nicely. So you're not too worried about applying too much and it just sticking to the eye. I have actually put some primer on and set my primer with just a sort of cream matte eyeshadow, so I do have some primer on there, but it's not sticky. But yeah, you can sort of pick up quite a lot on the brush, and it doesn't deposit heaps, but you can build it up, as you can see. So yeah, not a super pigmented matte, but a very functional matte. I like these for deeper shades because you can sort of control it a bit better, but you don't get that color payoff straight away. So that shade was actually called Potato. I love it, that's funny. I want to go in with this one now, which is Girl, so it's G-U-R-L exclamation point. I don't even know what this brush is, some cheap ass brush. Alright, so that is sort of chunky and sort of glittery. It's not really picking up well on this brush. I don't know if it's because this is literally, oh, poke myself in the eye. This is literally like a no brand brush. I don't even know what this brush is. I might try another one. All right, let's see with this. This one does pick it up a bit better, but it's not super as bold as I was expecting. I think with your finger or foiled, I think you'll get a more metallic sort of kind of look. I like the glitteriness, I love some glitter, but I sort of expected this to be more of a foiled sort of rosy color, but what it's coming to look like, it's more sort of like chunky glitter that you do need to foil to sort of make it look solid. So this might be better as like a topper for a color, just to add some sparkle or to apply with your fingers, but you know, with a brush, probably wet your brush because it's not super bold. And there was quite a lot of fallout with that as well. Oh, you can see it. It's just sort of stuck to my face. Luckily it's a nice highlighter color, so you can't tell too much. So you can see that it's beautiful applied with your finger. It looks rosy. I'm not really catching that. And it looks a lot more foiled when applied with your finger, like a more metallic sheen. Whereas with a brush, it just sort of looks a little bit chunky and glittery. All right, I think I might move over to the Chloe palette, and I'm just looking at this sort of duo here. I might go in with that brown. I did swatch them. In my opinion, they look sort of lighter than I was expecting them to. So those colors there, but I'm gonna use mainly the brown. So I'm just adding that to the outer like half, just to add a little bit more color and depth. I really don't like super bright eyeshadows all over my lid because they don't suit my eye shape. They sort of make me look a bit funny, so I prefer to just kind of keep the highlighted section controlled. So I'm sort of toning that down a little bit. This is not super pigmented. I don't know if it's because I'm trying to put it over this glitter that just is a little bit funny. I'm not too sure, or if this eyeshadow is just designed to be very natural. But if you are the type of person that's quite adventurous with eyeshadows and you like the pigmentation to be like bam in your face, this is not really cutting it for me. And the fallout is extreme because I've really tried to put a lot of product on. I'm going to continue anyway. I'm going to put that on my lower lash line. Alright, so I've just tidied up some of that fallout a little bit with the excess of my foundation on that sponge because it was pretty extreme. I'm going to say that I'm not super impressed with these eyeshadows just yet. I think the matte was quite nice to use and I might try to use some more mattes. But I think that shimmery one is better as a topper. It's better foiled, so wet your brush. It's better applied with your finger. But I sort of wanted to just have a beautiful, very like a metallic wash of color, and it just didn't it wasn't what I expected. And then I went in with that dark brown from the Chloe palette, so this shade here, and I think it's just, it applies quite nicely, but I think it just doesn't really look like there's much going on. So I'm just going to demonstrate it a bit. You can see with a brush, it just doesn't look as good. It doesn't look as good. Yeah, the pigmentation is really lost, and that's sort of what I'm experiencing on the eye. That's what I did with the finger swatch, and that's what's applying with the brush. It's just a little bit meh, doesn't really pick up or transfer well from the brush to the eye. Okay, so in this sort of rosy duo, I'm going to go with this lighter shade. It does look like it picks up quite well, so we'll see how it applies. That does look like it applies a bit nicer, but they're very, very soft. They're very subtle. They're sort of like nice to blend, but they just don't carry a lot of pigmentation. I think so far, even though this was a bit of a learning curve with this one, I'm liking this formula better. I'm going to try some more out. I'm going to try this dark brown. The pigmentation there should be good. I just want to really, yeah, this one looks a lot better. I just really want to see some definition. Fallout though, the fallout is real. These are very, very sort of flaky. I don't know if it's worth the hassle. So you can definitely see that that made a dramatic change, which is good. You sort of want eyeshadows when you put them on to change the look how you want it. So this definitely added some dimension, but it also added a lot of dark brown fallout. Luckily it is quite powdery, so you sort of can just brush it away, but yeah, it's not the best. I'm going to use one last shade from this, and I think it's going to be this one here, just to deepen the crease a little bit, just to see how it applies. It picks up quite nicely. I don't know if this is too much or too little. I'm not sure. I'll tap off some excess just in case. And that, once again, you can see as soon as I put it on, it does change the look. So I think the mattes are better in this instance than the shimmers. I'm going to use some of that same matte just on the lower lash line, because the other shade, that shimmery brown, did not much from that Chloe palette. See, all of a sudden you can see depth there that wasn't here. And I think, yeah, it's what you want from an eyeshadow. When you put it on, you want to see it. You want it to be controllable, so you know, it blends out nicely. You can kind of build it up if you want, but you actually want it to show up. So even though I'm sort of done with these eyeshadows, I want to move on. I do want to try that shade that I mentioned at the start that kind of shifts that kind of yellowy gold color, because it is beautiful. And let's test this one out. So let's just put this, yeah, that one works really well. So there are some that, so it's still quite soft, but it does show up. So I think the lighter shades in the Chloe palette tend to show up better than the deeper shades. But they're all very soft. Like, it's not Bam metallic, it's more like Bam satin. They're very, very soft, sort of diffused finishes. All right, so to finish up the eyes, I am going to use the liner, and I'm going to use both the felt tip sort of liquid liner and also the pencil liner. Okay, let's see how this applies. This better be good. Oh, it's quite nice. So it's very, very, very black. It's not too wet. Oh, it's bleeding a little bit. Let's zoom in a lot, shall we? Can you see that as soon as I put it on, it sort of bleeds into the eyeshadow? Not good. This is not great. I'm quite disappointed. It is probably too wet. So on the tail end, it was quite dark and it's very, very wet. And the problem is, like, I wanted to try to fix, see, I've got that little kind of kink there. I wanted to try to correct that, but I'm finding that I'm just worried it's going to go everywhere. So it's a very, very black liner, but if there's any moisture, so around this area of your eye where there's moisture, it just bleeds, and that's not cool. This is why I hate liquid liners, and this one is not good. So with this eye, what I did was I avoided that area completely. Some people just do that naturally when it comes to liner. For me, because my eyes are sort of wider set, I find it makes my eyes, like if I put too much of a highlight in here or my liner starts too far back, it makes my eyes look quite wide set. So I do like to take the liner right far in, but with this one I can't because it's just, it bleeds. So I just have a cotton tip. This one's just a dry one. I'm going to see if I can remove some dry, but on the other end I have some micellar water in case I need it, and I think I will. So I'm just like, I'm trying not to disrupt the rest of the liner too much. Oh, it's such an abomination. So I've sort of removed it, and then what you need to do is you have to go back with your eyeshadow. And the problem is that I've done layers and layers of eyeshadows because I've been trying different eyeshadows out and making them work. So to get sort of this exact color, you need to sort of repeat what you've done. I'm not going to do that because I can't be bothered and I'm not enjoying this experience. So I'm just going to go in with some shades that I think will sort of match. Alright, so now that I know that the liquid liner can't handle the inner part, I'm going to try the Kohl Liner on that inner part and also in the waterline. So if you do have this, if you bought this and you're like, damn it, it bleeds, you can always just use the liquid liner from like this point onwards, so it avoids any sort of I don't know, eye moisture at all. If you do tend to like water around the outer corner, like if it's really windy, you'll find that that will probably start wearing away as well. So it's not great, but you can use it, but it's just not a great liquid liner. Okay, let's see how this pencil goes. Is it showing up at all? No. Let's see if we can have to warm it up. It's got a very, very, very fine tip, and it does draw quite well on dry, clean skin. It's just about whether or not it draws on my eye, which is over eyeshadow, a bit more moisture. My eyes are getting a little bit angry that I've had to go through all of this. So it is sort of slowly getting there. I think you just have to warm up a bit. So this holds a lot better on the inner part of the eye. But you can definitely see that it's a different sort of finish. So I'm just sort of going over that liner as well, because the liner is a bit shiny and sort of darker, whereas this pencil liner is not as pigmented and definitely more matte. So it's not a perfect situation, but you can definitely get it to work. And now let's see if it works on the waterline. Not really. So you can see it's drawn a little bit, but it doesn't really want to grip to a surface that is wet. So it gets there, but it takes a bit of work, and you don't want to rub that area too much because it's a sensitive part of your eye. You can see that liquid liner on a dry surface doesn't bleed, it's just that if it's near moisture it does. Now that's been on my hand for, I don't know, 20 seconds, and that does seem like it's quite budge proof as well. So once they're on and once they're sort of not moving around, they're not too bad. But if you do have sort of watery eyes at all, it will bleed. All right, there's no mascara in this pack, so I'm just going in with my Givenchy mascara that I've been using lately, just to hopefully make this look a little bit more put together. Alright, so let's now go on to brows. I'm going to use those matte powders. My eyes are still sort of recovering. I just feel like since there was a lot of like rubbing and a lot of reapplying and rubbing in the waterline, my eyes just feel a little bit more like teary than they usually are, and a little bit like, what have you done to me? Stop putting me through all this trouble. So I'm going to start with the light brown matte shade for my brows, and this is the shade called Knot. So I do have a little bit of brow powder already in my brows, but this is not showing up at all. So I'm going to go in with a dark brown instead. My problem is though that this jumps from like blonde to dark brown. There's no middle ground. So maybe I'll mix the two. I'm mixing the two. That's what I'm currently doing. Let's see if this shows up. This shows up a little bit better. It flakes onto my nose. I've already seen a flake. It's a very powdery product. Okay, I'm going in with just a brown because once again, it's not really showing up. Yeah, I sort of feel like the problem with these powders, since they are eyeshadows, even eyeshadows work well on brows, but these are very sort of soft and flaky, and I feel like for brows you need a firmer powder that sort of stays where it's put. They're on, once again, like the eyes, they're on, but I think the problem with these matte powders is that they're more designed for eyeshadows. So I found with them, not only is the jump from light to sort of dark too much of a jump, I'm sort of smack bang in between, it's sort of annoying, but it is what it is. But you know how I said that the other matte eyeshadows sort of blend very easily, they sort of diffuse very quickly, they're quite soft. So are these. So what I find is that they sort of not only make your brows sort of just look very diffused. I prefer powders that I can get on an angle brush and almost sort of mimic hairs at the start, but I couldn't do that with this. It sort of just fades because the eyeshadows, oh my god, I still got some on my nose. The eyeshadows sort of just blur. So I don't think they're the best for eyebrows, unfortunately. Alright, hopefully something in this palette is redeemable. I'm going to try a blush, and I'm sort of interested in the top one, which is Promise. I think it would go nice with my eye look, and I don't know about the pigmentation yet. Oh, they're very soft. The top one is particularly soft. I put my finger in it and it brought up a chunk. So you can see that it's very, very soft and powdery, which is quite nice for a blush. It is, yeah, it's a thing. So this is the peachy one. It's a nice color. I like it. This is the sort of cooler toned pink one in the middle. And then this is the bottom one, which is a little bit deeper. So that looks more like a sort of rosy sort of shade, and they're very, very soft. They look like they're nicely blendable. So like I said, these are very powdery. They pick up a lot. I've just tapped off some excess, but we'll see how it applies. I actually like that. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, okay. You can see the gold shift when it catches the light. That is kind of pretty. Okay, it looks a lot more pigmented on the face than it does in the swatch or in the pan, but I don't know if you can see, it's got a gold sheen to it. It's super pretty. Okay, I think this Chloe palette should have just been a cheek palette, like a cheek trio for me, because I think the blushes, well, at least the one that I've tried is very, very nice, and the others feel like they've got a similar, really soft, really beautiful sort of blendable consistency. So these cats are running amok and they're doing my head in. So yeah, I feel like the blush formula from this palette's really nice. It sort of reminds me a little bit of the softness and sort of the blendability of the Illamasqua blushes, but like this has like a gold sheen, so it's a bit different. And this reminds me a bit of Luster from NARS in the color, so it's a little bit of a bronzy orange with a gold sheen. It's really, really pretty. So this palette I will keep around for the blushes, but unfortunately these I will play with them more, but on first impressions I don't love them. Alright, I kind of want to now delve into this. Now for me, I'm going to use these as highlighters, but I do want to swatch them. They feel like they're a different consistency to the eyeshadows, like they're a little bit more metallic. Whoa. Whoa. So those would be really nice eyeshadows, much better than the metallics in the eyeshadow products, pans, palettes, whatever. So the pinks sort of look similar, but they do have different undertones. This one has a beautiful sort of purple shift to it, like a purple sheen. The middle one is just your standard sort of pink, and that's more of a sort of peachy pink. So they are different, but they're still very similar. The bottom row is very different. So you've got a peachy sort of shade, which is quite orange, a bronze, and then like a dark. Ooh, that's beautiful. That'd be nice as an eyeshadow. Ooh, I like this palette. I feel like I should have used that bronze all over the lid, because I think it would have worked better than the eyeshadows. that we tried. So yeah, this is a multi-purpose sort of highlighting product, but you can, yeah, highlight, shimmery blush, eyeshadow, but I'm going to try it as like a highlighter. Forgive the color, the weather is horrible today, so it's like in and out of overcast and sunny, but I'm going to go for that peach shade, which is Bonbon, I believe. I sort of really like that purple color, but I think the peach will go better with this look, so I've just got that on a brush. Let's just see. Yeah, they're nice. They're nice sort of just highlighters. I don't think you need a whole palette of them personally, because I feel like a lot of them will look very similar on the cheeks. They are very sort of like intense. I'm going to go with a lighter one, maybe this one here, just sort of on my nose to test that out. They're nice. They're nice, very sort of highly metallic highlighters. Okay, I'm going to remove this lip gloss, this Chloe Morello one, and I'm going to go in with this lip palette. Alright, these sort of seem quite sheer. They're like a cream colour with like a glossy sort of finish, so I don't think they're going to be super bold. They're quite thin to when you touch them. That pinky red is actually really pretty. I love the nude, that sort of cool tone nude, but that red is very pretty. So I might actually go, I sort of want to try this one because it looks probably the most interesting. It stands out as being like a nice pop of colour. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll try the peach first. We'll see. Alright, peach first. Okay, they do start to look matte on the lips. Huh. Alright, alright. I don't hate them. These are also designed to be cheek products. So if you want like a cream blush, I shouldn't do this while talking, you could do that as well. Alright, I think actually out of this collection, these lip products are surprisingly good. I've always been a bit hesitant about lip palettes, but I think that these apply very, very thinly, and they do have sort of like a matte look finish, which is kind of cool. Not super pigmented, not like the other lip palettes I've tried in the past. They tend to be very like gloopy sort of lip products, but these are like a nice lipstick. So I quite like that, but I want to try the red one. Okay, it's not actually red, it's like a dark pink, but I want to try it anyway. Oh, it's nice. Yeah, I like this formula. Alright, that is a nice lip product. I don't know how well it's going to last. I'll have to give you an update. Probably in my favourites and fails for May because it's too late for April. But I'm going to say that I am pleasantly surprised by this. I thought it was, like I said, it was going to be a gloopy kind of like glossy, horrible sort of product. But these are very, very sort of firm. You can see that even if you kind of like use a brush to pick up quite a lot of product, it doesn't move the pan too much. I just remember seeing like the Shaaanxo BH Cosmetics one, like you hit pan. There was another one that I tried that happened. Anyway, you sort of hit pan as soon as you like touch it. Whereas these are like a very, very sort of solid, decent, stable lip product. And even though they aren't 100% opaque, so you can sort of see my lips a little bit through it, it is very nice pigmentation. I'm actually going to keep using this because I think this is really nice. Like I don't usually go for lip palettes, but if the formula is really nice and I like the shades, which I do, I particularly like sort of these two columns here. Pinks aren't really for me, but that kind of cool nude, this beautiful, vibrant sort of perfect cross between red and pink. Really nice. Very, very nice. So I'm interested in this. Look how it's settled down. It's gorgeous. All right, so that was an interesting get ready with me. I don't mind the overall finish. I think I've got some successful looks. I finally got there, I think. But I think the lip sort of made it pop and made it look a lot better. I feel like this is a mixed bag, and I know that, you know, you do have to use makeup for longer periods of time, see how it wears, see how all the shades apply, all that kind of stuff to really get a good idea of what you think about the product. but at the same time, when it comes to colored products, so like lipsticks, blushes, eyeshadows, you can really get a good idea of what you think of the product just by applying it. So generally foundations and base products, you have to see how they hold up and if they break you out and if they, you know, oxidize and whatnot. But colored products, you can get a pretty good idea, especially if you've been like reviewing makeup for years and years and years like I have. So this is a mixed bag. Okay, so let's recap and talk about the products that I did like and that I sort of do recommend or that I will look forward to trying more of. I'm going to say definitely this lip palette. Like I said, this lip palette is surprisingly really nice. The look of it, I was very surprised, so I'm keen to try this more and see how it wears. I also quite like Chloe Morello's gloss. This is a beautiful gloss. It looks gorgeous in the tube. It adds a nice amount of shine. It is very wearable and it is very comfortable. It is not sticky, but it's not like very thin and sort of slippery. It's like a beautiful consistency. So I really like this gloss. I think out of the Chloe stuff, this gloss is very good. I think also when it comes to Chloe's products, the blushes are really nice. This doesn't surprise me because last year they had some single blushes, like in actual single packaging. I think it was a collab with Aspen Ovard, and they were really beautiful. I had one blush and it was really beautiful. So it didn't surprise me that these blushes are very nice because I like the formula of the blushes. So I liked that part of this palette. I didn't so much like the eyeshadows. I think they're usable and there's a place for them. But it's not really a place in my makeup collection. I like quite pigmented eyeshadow that blends nicely, so I put it on. I can see that I've put it on. I blend it out so it's sort of like nice and applied, hopefully nice looking. But with these, it seems like the shimmers just sort of diffuse. There's not too much pigmentation there. And they do have a lot of fallout. Also, these that are like liner brow products, they don't work very well because they, once again, they're not firm enough to sort of stick where you want them to stick. They just kind of want to go wherever and create a really diffused brow or liner, which you don't want with brows and liners. You want some like precise application. So these will probably work well as eyeshadows, but not as brow or liner products. The last product that I did quite like, I didn't use it much, but from swatching it, I do quite like it. It's the Sweet Glow palette. So this one, like I said, that has a few like double up shades, but the fact that it's multi-purpose I really like. As a highlighter, it's beautiful. And I just want to test it really quickly. I want to test this bronze color. So I've just got it on a brush and I want to see how it applies. Yeah, that is nice. It's got a bit of fallout, but that is what I'm after for an eyeshadow. That's what I want. If I go for a bronze, I want that. That's what I want on my eye. So I don't know why they couldn't do that with the eyeshadows, but they could do it with this. So if you're after shimmery products, this one might be one to pick up because as eyeshadows as well, it would be very pretty. I'm just going to compare that to this one from the Chloe palette. I've just wiped off the brush. I'm picking up heaps of product here to give it a good shot. And no, useless. So that's what they think an eyeshadow should be, but that multi-purpose product, for some reason, works really well. So this would be a much better shimmery eyeshadow palette than the Chloe one. So yeah, chalk and cheese. Then also disappointing was this little eyeshadow palette. I just think the shimmery shades, lot of fallout and not very pigmented. The mattes seem to be the better ones there. They do definitely apply quite nicely on the eye. They're not super pigmented, but they do show up and they do sort of blend quite nicely, but still a bit of fallout. So yeah, I'm on the fence about this palette. Look, I could potentially bring this traveling just for the mattes, but then again, I probably have better mattes in my collection, so I wouldn't need to do that. But yeah, that one I'm a bit not a big fan of. And then probably my least favorite thing is the liner. It does bleed, as you saw, when it comes to sort of the wetter part of your eye. So even though it is a beautifully black and very bold and very wet liquid liner, it just bleeds. But I will keep testing it. And then also the Kohl Liner, even though I love how sort of small and precise it is, like that's a beautiful line, I feel like it's a little bit too firm and not creamy enough for the waterline. So for me, I don't love this. Anyway, that is a mixed bag. So I think the most things I'm pleasantly surprised by are the lip products, actually. Like, these I'm keen to try out more. This I'm keen to go, what color do I want to wear tomorrow? So that is a good sign. For these, that's a good sign. These are things that are going straight on my desk for tomorrow when I do my makeup. The rest of it, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. It is what it is. Okay guys, this is just a little bit of an update, just like an hour after filming. The more I look at this lip, the more I am obsessed with this lip. The formula is really nice. It's really beautiful and bright. It is sort of like, it's like a matte, velvety sort of finish. So it does transfer. It's very thin though, so it's very comfortable. It's good. I love it. So yeah, definitely I think the lips are my favorite thing that I've put on my face today, for sure. Oh well, sometimes these get ready with me's don't turn out the best. So we tried. If you have tried any of these products, let me know what you think about them. If you're thinking of buying any, let me know what you think. If you like the look of this lip product, so do I. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.